Not the way we want to start the episode, with a giant statue of Golden Layton just staring us in the face. Hello and welcome back to some Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we started up the trial for the Golden Court, and just when I thought that Layton couldn't possibly condescend us anymore, even when he is a frozen golden statue, he still gets credit for the contradictions that Phoenix points out, because that's just this game for you. Anyway, let's continue the trial. So it's gotta be that young butler? I know what you're thinking. I couldn't quite believe it at first either, but the evidence and circumstances all point to the butler. He or she has to be the witch. At least, it'll be certain if the magic gem turns out to be a fake. But if that's the case, then Belduke's murderer was also... Yeah, it would be Grey Earl. No, it can't be true. He wouldn't have done that. Isabella? I know, Jean. He held Sir Belduke in the greatest of respect. Jean didn't kill him, I'm sure of it. Jean Grey Earl, are you really what people think you are? There are still so many unknown factors in this trial. Ah. Oh, great. It's Luke! I'm sorry, Maya, what is... Oh, well, at least someone in this goddamn game has humility. For the first time in forever. What are you saying, Luke? All you did was testify about what you saw. No, he did a little bit more than that. Yes, you should have trusted her. Well, you trust us now, right? Maya! Anyway, Luke, it was thanks to you that we... Oh, my God! Thanks to me? Sure, you got Cracker to testify. That was a great idea. Yes, Maya, because we've never had that idea before. I wish I could talk to animals, don't you? What? Oh my God. This game. This... I'd like to remind everybody that the only reason we won the Turnabout Goodbyes trial is because Maya was the only person capable of talking to Polly the parrot. This game can right the hell off. I guess I'd love to have a chat with Eve. So, Luke, you teach us how to do it? Pretty please. Oh, this game. Mr. Wright? What is it, Luke? Do you mind if I join you from now on? Yes, I do. No, that was the wrong answer. No, I do mind. Wait, what do you... That's why I'm not giving up yet. Oh, fun. Professor, I knew I'd return. We can't give up hope. You know, that's what I've been thinking too. Really? I have a feeling he'll reappear again when we get into trouble and help us out. Yeah, because, I mean, it's a Professor we're talking about here. He's just so good at everything. Right. And remember what he always says. Look forward to the future and always look on the bright side. I don't think it was the Professor who said that. Defender accused. The intermission's over. Return to the courtroom. Let's go. It's time to bring this trial to a close. Oh, I have some of you, Mr. Wright. Here, please take it. Maybe it'll come in handy in the trial. A letter, huh? Let's see who it's from. Wait, Newton Belduke? There are several sheets of parchment inside, but they're all blank. The Professor and I got this when we went to see the storyteller. Thank you, Luke. The more info we have, the better. You're welcome. Of course, the case-defining evidence was going to be given to us by Luke. I've got enough proof that it was Jean Grey who turned the Professor into gold. Even if the magic gem is a fake, it's still not decisive evidence. I don't know what happened next, but I do know this battle's far from over. Can we just go one trial without Luke and Layton overshadowing Phoenix for like just one trial? I'll even take one testimony at this point. Anything, something, anything. We will now resume the trial of my affair. First things first, the occult club and the analysts have finished examining the evidence. They have tested the two magic gems from the witch's scepter. Gold though floated on the surface of the water, whereas Somalia sank. It was said, yep, this has been established that the Somalia magic gem is a fake, as we all kind of already knew. Order in court. This does not prove the Godor was used, of course. Nonetheless, the defense's theory does now seem more plausible. The court considers it worth looking into. You have no objection to that, do you, Inquisitor Bonham? No, my lord. Great. One step closer. Now let's bring in the witness. Hello. How you doing? Witness, state your name and profession.
My name is Jean Grey Earl. I served the late Master Belduke. Since his death, I have been tending to his dwelling and putting his research materials in order.
I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's something a bit different about Grey Earl today. Witness, there is something we need to clarify first of all. As you are no doubt aware, you have been accused of being a witch. Therefore, it is vital that you tell us, are you a boy or a girl?
Please hold on.
Why, what is it?
Excuse my rudeness, my lord, but at this time, I do not intend to answer that question.
Why do you refuse to answer, witness?
I had been following this trial from the gallery, and am fully aware of the utterly absurd accusations being made against me. Alchemy, the art pursued by Master Belduc, is concerned with rules and logic that govern nature. As someone who had been helping Master Belduc for quite some time, I dare say your theory is both illogical and impossible.
Objection!
The witch's scepter was thrown into the crime scene through a portal created by the magical spell Godor. That portal could only have been opened from your room. And what's more, one of the walls in your room is painted green!
I believe anyone is free to paint their walls in whichever color they please. Besides, your theory relies on one magic gem being a fake. While that may have been proven true, another question has arisen. Where could the genuine magic gem be?
Well, if I were a betting man, I'd say that there's a pretty good chance that that giant bulge on your chest right now is probably where the gem is. It must have been swapped with the fake one and discarded somewhere.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
Why?
If we assume, as you had claimed, that the witch used the spell Godor, that would mean the magic gem must have been swapped after creating the portal. So tell me, when and where would the witch have disposed?
Probably inside, probably on your neck right now.
I see your point. Several people paid witness to the incident, and the Knights of the Inquisition arrived at the scene immediately after. During that time, no one left the building, and the whole place was meticulously searched. Naturally, my room was searched as well, although there was not much to see as I have few personal belongings.
Check your neck. Check the neck.
Despite our inspection, nothing resembling a magic gem was found. I assure you, we have not overlooked anything.
How about checking on Grail, him/herself?
So, Mr. Wright, if you wish to accuse me of being a witch, should you not first prove that there is a connection between me and the missing magic gem? Furthermore, I would appreciate it if you could please approach the matter in a rational way, like an alchemist.
The house was searched very soon after the crime. If the gem wasn't found, then it means Grail hid it somewhere. Somewhere the Knights of the Inquisition would not have looked. Where could it be? How about you just... basic problem-solving skills here. How about you check on his/her person? The witness has made a valid argument. No... The Knights who searched Sir Belduc's premises weren't looking for a magic gem. That's why there is a certain place they didn't consider searching.
Interesting. You really don't give up easily, do you? In that case, perhaps you could tell us all where the magic gem is.
In Grail's possession. Sir Belduc's premises were thoroughly searched. I don't think anyone would have been missed there. You anticipated that, and that's why you hid it in a blind spot that you knew wouldn't occur to the Knights.
A blind spot, you say? Well, where is it?
It's somewhere on Jean Grail's person. What? It's on the witness?
Don't tell me the witness has it in their pocket. You're just guessing, aren't you? You think you can say just anything you like. By the way, I'm afraid there are no pockets in my clothing.
This is the second time I've seen Grail today, and both times I've had a feeling something wasn't quite right. Maybe it's just me, but it could be related to the whereabouts of the magic gem. Defense, show us the location of the magic gem. Where do you think the witness hid the magic gem on the day of the crime? Right there. On his/her neck.
Got it!
Witness! We met for the first time at Belduc's premises. At that time, you had an amethyst attached to your collar. Oh. Oh, I didn't even know that. I did not even know that. I did not pay attention to that at all. I just assumed that the giant bulge on her chest was probably where that... Okay, I didn't even recall that. I did not pay attention to that whatsoever. That's right, Mr. Grail always wears that gemstone.
Alchemists believe that amethysts emit positive energy.
Amethysts are purple, but when I saw you in the waiting room this morning... The gemstone you were wearing was green, not purple. I did not even notice that. I did not notice that in the slightest. So my question now is, where has it gone? Where is that amethyst that you supposedly always wear?
Objection!
Wait just a minute. The witness wears a purple gemstone?
Is something amiss, Inquisitor Bonham?
When we arrived at the crime scene, the witness came out to meet us. I recall the witness wearing a gemstone, but I was not paying attention to that whatsoever.
I did not... If you asked me whether she was wearing that around her neck, I would have been like, maybe? I didn't pay attention to that at all. Witness, you've been trying to pin the blame on the defendant. In order to do that, you replaced the Godor magic gem with a regular gemstone. We thought the witch who killed Sir Belduc had used the spell Familiar. You knew that if a witch's scepter with the Familiar and Godor magic gems attached were discovered at the crime scene, the suspect would be accused of committing both crimes. That's precisely what happened. The girl captured at the crime scene was accused of slaying both Sir Belduc and Sir Layton. That was your plan. You removed the Godor magic stone from the scepter and inserted your amethyst in its place. And then you attached the Godor gem to your collar!
That's why when we saw you shortly after the incident, you were wearing a green gemstone. To think that was in fact a magic gem.
Yeah, I did not have any way to know that was...
Order! 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 Witness, is that true?
This amounts to nothing more than conjecture. I do not believe you have any solid proof. However, I have to concede that you have surmised a logical connection between me and the missing magic gem. Consequently, I am prepared to answer your questions.
Good. I will repeat what I asked you previously. Witness, state your name, profession, and finally, your gender.
My name is Jean Grail. I have been serving the late Master Belduke. As you can see, I wear a butler's outfit. But the truth is, as the defense claims, I am a girl.
Dual Destinies time. Or I guess I should say Turnabout Academy time.
A girl?
What? The butler is a girl?
Order in the court. Jean Grey, are you declaring to the court that you are in fact female?
Yes.
But everyone in town was under the impression you are a boy.
And did you hear that the butler's a girl? Doesn't that make him, her, a maid? I knew there was something suspicious about him. I mean her. You know why, right? Think about it. All that alchemy is mighty suspicious. Just listen to them. Listen to the wild gossip and accusations. Alchemists pursue knowledge of the rules that govern nature. But to the townspeople, alchemy is no different to magic. Had they known I was a girl, they would have taken me for a witch. That's what Master Belduke was worried about. He told me that it would be safer to pretend to be a boy.
In other words, you disclose that you're female but deny that you're a witch?
I would thought that would be obvious.
She knew that once her gender came into question, she wouldn't have been able to conceal it. That's why she made this public now. It was the most rational choice for her.
Question Barnum, may I ask you one question? Has all the evidence in this Golden Gentleman case already been presented? Why do you ask? As it stands, you do not have a single piece of evidence proving that I am a witch. Given the lack of pertinent evidence against me, I'd like to be permitted to return to my duties.
What say you, Inquisitor Barnum? Okay, well, in that case, how about we ask about, since you are so determined to pin both crimes on Maya, how about we extend the same courtesy to you and ask you about the original thing that remained unsolved? How about we talk about that one?
It has been proven that the two gems were swapped.
Because if you're so determined to prove that both crimes must be perpetrated by the same person, then it only makes sense for us to also examine the other one.
Objection!
Maya had no reason to swap the gems.
This is a place of judgment. There is no need for us to understand the reasons behind it.
What is wrong with these people? Huh?
After all, those whom we judge are otherworldly creatures. They are witches. It is impossible for a human being to understand the reasoning of a witch.
But hey, remember the last case when the witch had a reason for what she did? Remember that? Also, Luke's doing a very, very interesting dance right there.
Is there nothing we can do? At this rate, Maya will be...
Barnum still thinks Maya's a witch. We've made it this far, and yet it feels like we're back at stage 1.
It seems there are no rational arguments against me. Now, if you would kindly excuse me.
I don't have much on Grail when it comes to the professor's case, but should I just let her go? Yeah, there you go. Ask about another case. There's nothing else I can follow up on regarding the professor's case. So what can I do? There's only one other option. Miss Grail, I have to ask you to remain at the witness stand.
Is there something else you wish to ask me?
Your testimony is not over yet. There's still something you need to tell us about.
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I cannot help you. I have told you all I could about this incident.
And I'm afraid you've got the wrong idea, Miss Grail. Your Honor, what this witness needs to testify about is not the professor's unfortunate incident, but rather the incident from 3 months ago, namely, Sir Belduke's death. As she was present in the building at the time, working as a live-in butler, she needs to testify about the events of that day. About Sir Belduke's death? The fact that one of the magic gems was swapped leads me to a single conclusion. Both crimes, the murder of Sir Belduke and the transmutation of the professor, were the work of the same witch. The truth behind the alchemist's death may also hold the answer to this case.
I'll allow you to have your way this time, Sir Blue Knight. The Inquisition has no objections. Inquisitor Zacharias Barnum, it seems you have lost that unyielding attitude so admired by the townspeople. Here you are now, letting a novice defender...
A novice defender, huh?
It is hard to believe you have been known as an unwavering sort of justice for your usually cool-headed judgment. You know little about me, witness.
Do you think I care about defending my name? It is this town that I wish to defend. Sir Belduke's murder is the only case to have remained unsolved for so long. Jean Grail, you shall not testify about it. Well, you know what? Credit where it's due so far. We have yet to experience any condescension from Layton or Luke in the trial itself, so we're off to a we're on a roll. We got to keep this train going. It's a good start so far. As demanded by both the defense and Inquisition, the witness will testify about Sir Belduke's death. Any questions? No, my lord. I must, however, mention one more thing before we begin. If it cannot be proven that Jean Grail is the witch, as claimed by the defense, the court will irrevocably consider Maya Fey to be the witch responsible for both crimes. Is that understood? You have no choice, Sir Blue Knight. If you don't want the trial to end right now, ready your sword and face the challenge that awaits. But the opponent is a real witch. It's a gamble that puts Maya's life at stake.
Nick?
Maya.
No witch is gonna outwit you in court. You're an ace attorney after all.
There we go.
So, let's do it.
The defense accepts the conditions. Let's proceed with the trial. Now that's what we were missing. Some actual, conversations, dynamic between Phoenix and Maya. Instead of just Luke and Layton chuntering around the whole game like, oh, we're so cool at everything. We're gentlemen. We're experts at ace attorneying and puzzling and swordsmanship and flying and a bunch of other random garbage. Inquisitor Bonham, you may begin. We shall start with a brief summary of the incident. About 3 months ago, in the dead of the night, Sir Belduke the Alchemist was murdered. The crime took place in his study just as with this incident. The room had been locked from the inside. The victim was found still seated in the chair at his desk, so we can assume he was attacked while working. There were very clear strangulation marks visible on his neck. There's something trickling down from his mouth. Is that blood? Yes, most likely. The victim probably bit his tongue as he was struggling with his assailant. And you said earlier that some white powder was spilled over the floor, correct? Yes, hence we expected to find the killer's footprints, however there were none. The killer must have somehow approached the victim without stepping on the floor. After murdering Sir Belduke, the killer left the room without opening the door. Undoubtedly, the crime must have been committed with the use of witchcraft. The body was discovered the following morning by the butler, Miss Grayle. The body was found by Grayle, huh? Well, how wonderfully convenient. Thank you, Inquisitor Bonham. The court illustrated schedule will be added to the evidence. By the way, you could just, jump over the white powder. You don't have to fly away from it. It's not like, I cannot believe I'm about to say this. It's not like Turnabout Big Top, where you literally could not walk away without leaving footprints in the snow. You could just leap over the powder on the floor. Or, I don't know, climb over the desk to get past it. There are things you could do to get around that powder, but I guess not. Alright, witness testimony, the night of the crime. At around 1 o'clock at night, I excused myself and left Mr. Belduke in his study. When I called him for breakfast in the morning, he did not respond. The door to his study was locked. A neighbor had come for a visit just then. Oh, a neighbor had come for a visit just then, huh? Okay, and what neighbor was this? All the potions and other concoctions from the study had been confiscated. I wonder if they've been properly stored. Okay. Vagueness needs to be clarified. Potions and concoctions were confiscated. The victim was an alchemist, after all. We were hoping the items confiscated from the study could provide some clues. Besides, such things must not fall into the wrong hands. It may not be standard practice, but it was deemed necessary. The confiscated goods are stored in our secret vault. The only person with access to them is the High Inquisitor, Lady Darklaw. It has caused me great difficulty, as I have not been able to put Master's research materials in order as a result. The confiscated items shall be returned as soon as Sir Belduke's murder is resolved. I should be looking forward to that. Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna get to see those. Defense, you may begin the interrogation. Okay, first things first, I'm gonna need you to be more specific about the neighbor that came for a visit. That's the big thing I'm gonna try to clarify.
Hold it!
Wait, you mean that you broke the door? The only key to that room was in Sir Belduke's pocket. The only way to enter the study was to break the door open. And you managed that with the help of a neighbor who came to visit? Yes, it wasn't a social visit, mind. He came as a patient. A patient? Can you tell me more about him?
Objection!
The victim's neighbor is irrelevant. If she brought the neighbor up, then clearly there's some importance there. I think you're pushing it this time. A witness is hardly irrelevant. What's got him so shaken? He looks as if he's just had a rush of blood to the head. Master Belduke had been making very potent medicines, among other things. We would get people coming from the town at all hours of the day or night asking for them. And yet, in return for all the help Master offered, people would gossip about him dabbling in witchcraft. So you broke the door together with the neighbor?
Yes, when I explained the situation to him, he brought over an axe. Then he proceeded to attack the door with great force, smashing it into splinters.
I see. By the way, about that neighbor, who was...
Hold it!
Oh, no. No. No.
It's time for an entrance. Did you miss me, guys?
No, actually I didn't. Here's Amir, back at it again. My favorite.
Order! Order! Could it be that it was you who... Where are you looking, old man? I'm right here. And as for who I am, I'm the alchemist's neighbor and a witness in that case.
You're just everywhere! You're just everywhere in every case!
It's you again. You're the guy from earlier, right?
Yup, that's me. Amir's the name. How you been, Bluey?
Are you really the alchemist's neighbor? Seriously?
I know, right? Freaky coincidence, eh? But yeah, his house is next to mine.
Great, and then this man, okay, lovely.
That's why I tried to solve it from asking about the neighbor.
Huh? Why so cold, Inquisitor Barnum? Unable to hold yeah, whatever. And the musician standing next to you.
Oh yeah, that's me private bard, Birdley. A right musical genius. Hold on. Oh dearie me. Squawk!
Oh, dearie me, what have we gotten ourselves into? Well, no use shutting the stable door after the horse is bolted. Let's move on. Witness, since you're already here, you may as well add your testimony. Testify about what you witnessed on the morning after the crime. You can count on me.
Can we though? I don't know about that.
It dawned on me then, the witch cast Amelia. No. How can you be this dense? It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. How can you forget this already? There's something you don't seem to understand here, Mr. Amir. The familiar gem in this witch's scepter is a fake. The gem is useless. Just like this buffoon's testimony. Therefore, your testimony doesn't hold water. Just like anything else he says. What? Ignored and scorned without credibility, will majestic Amir now show humility? No, he will not. What? A fake? You should have listened to the trial more carefully. You don't only have to listen carefully. That was like the first most important thing that's been mentioned so far. No, that has been dealt with. Well, that was a completely unnecessary detour. Great. Indeed, we deduced that familiar must have been used, however.
Objection!
But the familiar badge was a fake. That much should be demonstrated today. What's more, as we've learned from Cracker the Parrot's testimony, the witch used the spell Godor. The fact that there's a green wall at the crime scene corroborates that.
Objection!
That wall may well not have been painted green. Let's check the sketches. Do the sketches tell us otherwise? Oh, well, look at that. Wow. Oof. Wow. Yikers. That did not age well at all. Look, behind the painting. Looky there. There's a splotch of green. Yikes. Imagine being this wrong. Imagine being this catastrophically incorrect about anything. And besides, no one could have passed through a portal so small. You must have started wondering, was Sir Layton's and Sir Belduke's murders actually committed by the same witch?
Objection!
Your Honor, I'd like to remind you that this was that was the Inquisition's claim. He's right, though. It's got to be the same culprit in both cases, and at the very least, it's possible that the witch used the spell Godor to commit Sir Belduke's murder. What? In that case, I will ask the defense to show us proof. Do you have proof? Yes, I do. The sketches.
Take that!
Just one look. I'd like you to take a look at these. Are those the coordinates for the sketches? As you can see from the sketch, the victim was seated at his desk when he was murdered. And what can you see right behind the victim? A small landscape painting. Thank you, Inquisitor, but there's one more point of note. Look closely at the painting. Do you notice anything behind it? Oh, I see it. The wall behind it had already been painted green, which means the witch could have used the portal spell there 3 months ago.
Objection!
One moment, my lord. Consider how small that portal would have been. Could a witch have passed through it? I think not.
Objection!
Of course, the witch would not have been able to go right through it. However, if you look at the distance between the portal and the victim, you'll notice that the victim, Sir Belduke, was sitting just an arm's length from where the portal would have been. The witch did not have to enter the room at all. All she had to do was reach through with her arms in order to strangle Sir Belduke, who was sitting right under the painting. Order! It goes to the bottom. What say you to that?
A fascinating theory, Sir Blue Knight.
But there is a notable contradiction within it. Oh, is there now? Where would that be?
Tell me, why do you think we concluded the Familiar had to have been used? We had a certain reason for it, of course.
Please tell us because there's no footprints there. The crime scene had been tampered with. Oh? How so?
Imagine the circumstances of Sir Balduke's death and it should have become obvious even to you. The victim was choked to death. And yet, there were no signs of a struggle. Highly improbable, don't you think?
Well, that doesn't matter. Okay, you realize that he's in a slumped over position, right? It's possible he was just asleep. Like, he literally could have been sleeping while all this happened and he wouldn't have known he was being strangled, which would explain why there were no signs of a struggle. So if he was already unconscious, then that's problem solved.
Without doing so, there would have been no point in using the spell Godor.
Objection! Miss Grail could have done it. She might have been able to tamper with the crime scene. What are you talking about? The morning of the crime, from the time Miss Grail and that guy entered the study until the arrival of the Knights of the Inquisition, there was a window of time in which she had the opportunity to do so. We need to look into what happened in that window. It seems we may be in need of another testimony. Witnesses testify about what happened in the time between the body being found and the Knights of the Inquisition arriving.
Sure thing. Ask me anything. I'll tell you all you need to know.
Oh, glorious Amir, tell us more. Maybe you won't be left at us before. Only 2 people access the crime scene at a time, Grail and Amir. Believe it or not, Amir is the key witness in this case. Okay, witness testimony. After discovering the body,
I broke down the door and saw the alchemist slumped in his chair. Gave me a jolt. The butler hurried to call the Knights of the Inquisition. Never entered the study. What'd I do then? I was asked to keep an eye on things. So I went in and have a bit of look at everything.
You went into the crime scene to just look at things? Wait, what, Mr. Amir? You said the butler didn't enter the crime scene?
Yep, he never set foot in there. The moment he saw Balduke, he told me to stand guard until the Knights of the Inquisition arrived. And then off he went. What a resourceful apprentice that alchemist has, I thought to myself.
I almost feel sorry for you, Sir Blue Knight. After all, your suspect couldn't have tampered with the crime scene.
That can't be true. I'm gonna need to learn a little bit more about the things you had to look at in there. I need to know everything you saw in that room. Because you said you went in there and you looked at everything. I need to know everything you saw in that room. Okay, discovering the body. Skip ahead to... No, back one, okay. What did you do then?
Hold it!
What were you having a look at?
Well, I was asked to take care of the crime scene, wasn't I? So I had to, make sure everything was in order, I mean, you know? It's not like I went wild with excitement after being left in a real alchemist's room full of mysterious stuff.
I'm sure you didn't, Mr. Sticky Fingers.
And besides,
she asked me to... Oh, let me guess, you're gonna react to that? Yep, that's what I thought. What exactly did she ask you to look for? Miss Grail, you look lost in thought.
Oh, were you talking to me?
Even she can be caught off guard if I choose the right moment. You have been listening to Mr. Amir's testimony, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
He was asked to look for something. It was you who asked him, I assume. What did you tell him to look for?
I think you're mistaken. I don't remember making any requests this.
Okay, well then I wouldn't be the mistaken one, it would be him. So take it up with that guy. Huh?
Oi, Bluey! Were you even listening to what I said? It was a lady that asked...
Amir! Why are you here? Why are you here? You're useless! If you're gonna show up, if you're gonna show up to the court as a witness, then maybe you should have the slightest idea of what we're talking about. Quite a while ago, we learned that the butler, Jean Grail, is actually female.
What?
That's why when you said a lady asked you to search for something, we assumed it was Miss Grail.
What the?
Do you require personal notification? You should have been listening to the trial. Knights of the court, squabbling with the witnesses most unseemly. What I would like to know is this. Who was the lady that made the request of Amir?
Oh yeah, that was actually Miss...
What?
He's absolutely certainly talking about me.
Are people just allowed to jump up whenever they want in this world?
Oh, and you are?
Just... What?
But, Miss Letty, who are you precisely?
Just random people just jump down from the heavens whenever new testimony is required.
Me? Who am I? I'm Letty Mailer. I'm the courier.
A letter mailer, huh? The courier. A courier's a person. Yes, I know what a courier is. I know, thanks anyways, Bella. I wish you stopped misreading my mind.
Hold on, Miss Mailer. Do you mean it was you who irresponsibly made such a request to that troublemaker?
Me? Maybe. I guess so. I asked him to help me find something.
Outrageous!
Why was I not informed of this? I guess no one told you, maybe because you didn't ask? Ah!
It seems we will need to ask you to testify, Miss Mailer. Explain to us how you were involved in this case.
Frankly, I wouldn't say I was involved in anything. Now in a tight spot. I bet it's because that guy said something weird about me.
Ah, ease up on me, lady, like the saying goes. And I'm going down and taking you with me. Beats being in a pickle all on your own, eh?
Now then, Miss Lady Mailer, testify about that day.
That voice could make windows shut. What was that? That was like a sensor sound effect, like beep. Like the sound of a television going off air. What the heck was that sound effect? Silverluke said he'd have a letter to send. Oh, did he now? So, would that happen to be the letter that was blank? This letter.
Objection!
The letter you found that morning. Was it, by any chance, this one here?
Ah! Yes, that's the one. But wait, how did you get it? You're a piece of work, alright.
Objection!
Hold it, Sir Blue Knight. How did you come by that letter? It was just sort of fell into my lap, so to speak. It was the professor who found it, but he doesn't need to know that. Defender, just what in the world are the contents of that letter? Well, the letter's blank. What?
All this fuss over a blank letter?
As you can see, there are some sheets of parchment inside the envelope. Indeed, and there's not a trace of ink on them. What's the meaning of this?
Don't forget that Sir Duke was an alchemist. He may have used some kind of invisible ink to write that letter. About that, it doesn't make sense to me.
What? Miss Mailer?
The thing is, when I saw that letter, all the pages were full of writing, so, you know.
Objection!
Hold it, witness. You saw the contents of Sir Duke's letter?
I didn't read it, it's just that, you see.
Witness, this is an important matter. You will need to testify about it. Tell us what you know about this letter. Okay, witness testimony. Here we go. Sir Duke's letter.
That night, probably about 1 a.m., I made delivery to Sir Duke, okay? He was writing a letter at the time. It'll be ready soon, so come pick it up tomorrow morning, is what he said. I left the study and wished the butler good night. Then I went home.
Okay. So, the butler's involved in that statement, so I'm gonna need to ask you more about that one specifically. Because we need information on the butler. That's what we need. It's just information to tie Grail to this. I see. So you witnessed the victim write the letter?
I wouldn't say witness. That sounds so legal. The sheets of parchment were on his desk, though. I saw that. And they were covered in writing, margin to margin.
But you don't know what the letter was about?
Oh my god. Telling you would be a breach of our privacy policy. I can't reveal its contents nor who it was addressed to.
Of course, I understand.
Frankly, I didn't get close enough to Sir Balu's guest, I couldn't make out what he was writing.
In any case, where did you find the letter the morning after the victim was found dead?
On a shelf. Next to this desk. In a small letterbox. Ah, yes, right there, next to his head. I was a teeny little bit scared, though, so coming so close to a dead man.
So that's where she took the letter from. It was right next to the corpse, huh? Now that the circumstances are clear, we shall proceed to cross-examination. Oh, wait, I thought it was interrogation. Huh? What happened to it being called interrogation? Oh, well, I guess that's gone now. Okay, so, you say that you wish the butler good night, huh? Is there anything else you can tell me about the butler? Anything at all? Wait a minute. When you say the butler, you mean...
Miss, Grail, of course. She was in the corridor carrying a—
Wait, hold on, wait. She reacted to that.
Hang on!
Miss Grail, I'd like to ask you something.
Oh, certainly. What is it?
You stated previously that you excused yourself and left Sir Balu's study shortly after 1 a.m.
Yes, that is correct.
However, according to Miss Mailer's testimony, the two of you came across each other while you were waiting outside that room. Why didn't you mention that until now?
That's because... I apologize, I'm afraid I completely forgot to mention it.
You forgot?
Miss Mailer very often comes with deliveries during the night. I did see her that night as well, but I didn't think much of it as it's nothing unusual. I had no reason to hide that from you. Please forgive me for the confusion.
Well, that kind of thing can happen. Human memory is in no way perfect. I don't imagine there's a problem here, is there? On the contrary, Your Honor. There's one more thing Miss Grail forgot to mention. What is it? I'd like you to recall what Miss Mailer said about having met Miss Grail that night.
She was in the corner carrying a tray.
Well, Miss Grail, apparently you were carrying a tray at the time. What do you have to say about that? Jean Grail, I believe you should add that to your testimony.
As you wish, my lord.
It's unlikely she really forgot about it. The fact that she tried to hide it must mean something. Bring Master's usual drink. Okay. Well, there must be something important about that if you didn't tell us about it, so I'm gonna need more information.
Hold it!
What do you mean by usual drink?
When Master's experiments continued into late hours, he would always have some juice to ward off sleepiness.
What kind of juice?
Tomato juice.
Oh, wait, hold on. Is there something strange about that?
Hang on!
Excuse me, mister. Mister! Wah! I know nothing about it. Nothing at all. You clearly do if you reacted that way. Witness, what have you done this time?
Don't give me that scary look, Inquisitor Bonham. I was only just a little bit. Seriously, hardly anything at all.
What are you talking about?
Huh? What do you think I'm talking about? The juice, the tomato juice, of course.
The tomato juice?
You didn't. Surely even you wouldn't. Well, it's like I told you before. I think I sort of overdid it a bit the previous night. When I woke up, my head was pounding. That's why I went to see the alchemist. But you know what happened? And when I was left alone in the alchemist's study, kind of caught my eye. The bottle, I mean.
The tomato juice?
I thought it might make the headache go away, you know?
So you drank it? The juice found on the crime scene?
Well, why shouldn't I? It's a drink, ain't it? What else do you do with a drink? You drink it, right?
And can you tell us where that bottle is now? Come to think of it, I don't remember seeing it at the crime scene.
It has been confiscated.
Confiscated?
As I mentioned previously, the occult crime analyst confiscated all of Master's personal belongings in the crime scene.
Is that so? Well, I believe we should take note of that bottle and add it to the court record. Brought to Belduke before his death, Amir drank some of the juice the following day.
Yeah, so there I was having a bit of juice when that girl came around.
So, let me guess. Oh, you are so annoying. Alright, let me guess. Because she's an alchemist, it's gonna get revealed that they added some kind of soporific thing to the tomato juice so that when you drink it, you fall unconscious. Which would also explain how there'd be no signs of a struggle because he would have already been unconscious at the time that she reached through the portal. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, okay.
I went to read the next morning as promised, but Silverduke was, well, anyway, I looked for the letter. Then, that guy went out like a light on the couch, so I got a little scared, so I left as soon as I found the letter.
Alright, I'm guessing this is where we're gonna tie the bottle to the fact that he's unconscious, so let's try to press this a little bit further.
Hold it!
He went out like a light.
He was helping me look for the letter, and then it happened, out of the blue. He just passed out.
The rascal.
He collapsed, and his eyes rolled back. He wouldn't move.
It almost sounds like he died.
No such luck, unfortunately. That horrible sound. He was grating his teeth. I thought my ears would explode. Yeah, that's sure what came over me. Never happened to me before, sleeping like that. You know, I didn't just fall asleep. More like I sort of blacked out, I guess. No idea. Oi, you guys, what do you think? Any ideas?
I think it bears no relevance, and there you have my honest answer.
And I think it's good that I wasn't there.
But my question is, why did he black out like that? Oh, I've got evidence, alright. Your Honor, I might have a clue as to why the witness suddenly lost consciousness. You do?
Really? Did you work it out, Bluey?
If that's the case, to me the defense presents some evidence. What piece of evidence that would be the tomato juice bottle?
Take that!
Mister, I believe the reason you might have lost consciousness at the crime scene is tied to a certain piece of evidence.
But wasn't it just because, you know, I had a bit too much fun the night before?
No, it's because of this. The tomato juice? You passed out right before drinking, or sorry, right after drinking this juice, therefore it's not unreasonable to assume that there's a direct connection between the two. Tomato juice does not make people fall unconscious, Sir Blue Knight. Exactly, that's why this something must have been added to the contents of the bottle. Something like a soporific. You mean sleep medicine? And if the soporific was mixing with the tomato juice, that means Sir Belduke would have been unconscious at the time he was assailed. Oh. The sketch, have another look. The red liquid trickling down from the victim's mouth. It's proof that Sir Belduke must have drank the tomato juice. I failed to consider this. Inquisitor Barnum, I bet you remember saying this to the court. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly there should have been evidence of a struggle. And since we haven't found any, that must mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. However, if the victim was unconscious when his assailant was strangling him, then the killer could have committed the crime through a small portal big enough to put their arms through after all.
Objection!
That may be so, but tell me this. How would the culprit have managed to obtain such a strong soporific? It was very simple, and I think you've realized why. From the alchemist. That's right, an alchemist would no doubt have a wide array of various medicaments in their possession. and an apprentice would have little trouble stealing some of them from their study. Isn't that right, Miss Grey Earl?
How should I respond to that? I'm sorry to disappoint you may perhaps be the best way to put it.
What do you mean?
Even though that juice bottle has been safely stored there for the past 3 months, I'm positive it would be impossible to find any trace of that soporific now.
You wicked.
It's unbelievable, it's really the butler who did it, but everything she says holds true. She was pretending to be a boy. That's my suspicion to start with. Is she a witch?
What is that sound effect?
Hold on, everyone. The butler couldn't have done that to Sir Balduke. She would never, ever do it. Please, let's testify just one more time. Miss Grail, let's tell them. Let's prove they're wrong. They have no idea how much you've done for Sir Balduke. Miss Mailer.
Very well, I shall grant your request. Testify about the relationship between Miss Grail and Sir Balduke. Okay. The alchemist and his butler.
The master took me in, a complete stranger. I will forever be indebted to him. That's why I can never make an attempt on his life, through magic or otherwise.
I'm sure there's a reason why you could have.
Sir Balduke was a wonderful man. He's the one who recommended this line of work to me. And he's the one who told me about it, the confidentiality obligation to me. I've never once broken it.
It's true that Sir Balduke evoked fear due to him being an alchemist. However, he was also a man of admirable character who supported the townsfolk throughout his research. Why would anyone want to kill such a man? This question keeps haunting me, however much I think about it.
Witches need no reason behind their evil.
Now, the defense may begin his interrogation. Cross-examination. The alchemist and his butler. Okay. There's gotta be a reason here somewhere, so we're gonna find it.
Hold it!
You're claiming you had no reason to kill Sir Balduke.
Yes, you can ask whoever you wish, and I'm sure they will say the same. That is so. It is widely known that Jean Grey was devoted to serving Sir Balduke. It's difficult to imagine that she could brutally murder her respected master. Indeed, I am of the same... I have visited Sir Balduke on several occasions to inquire about this piece of evidence or that. And I must say, I felt there was a strong bond of trust between him and Miss Grey Earl. Well, if I were a betting man, I'd say it probably has something to do with the blank letter. Whatever was on that letter, you clearly didn't want him sending that to someone. Do you think you could still... Yes, I believe I can, actually. Jean Grey was murdered for murder.
Grey Earl reached the law to conjure up a small portal on the wall, and then she killed Balduke. Well, what motive does she have? I think I can suggest another motive. Because the letterbox is right next to where he was sitting in his desk, so I'm guessing she just opened the portal to try to get that letter in the first place. I don't think that her intention was to kill him. Not really, because this doesn't... I have a motive, no. Not for that, but I do have a motive that could shed some light on this. What this about, Sir Blue Knight? It's about the letter. Sir Balduke's life was taken that day, that's a fact. However, was this actually the culprit's true objective? No. The objective was simply to get the letter. What? This is nonsense. Sir Balduke was murdered. What other possible reason could there be besides someone wanting him dead? I'm fairly positive this piece of evidence will lead us to the culprit's real motive. Very well, defense, present evidence to indicate that we just need the letter.
Take that!
Miss Grail had no reason for wanting to kill Sir Balduke. However, there was another incident that night which is related to this case. And I have an idea what it was. Another incident? I'm referring to this letter. Sir Balduke wrote a letter shortly before his death, yet all we have here are some blank sheets of parchment.
Fascinating. Are you saying that maybe a witch used some kind of ink-removing magic on that letter, Mr. Wright?
No, the spell used by the witch was, of course, Godor. Let's go over the state of the crime scene one more time. As we know from Miss Mailer's testimony, the letter was in a letterbox next to the victim's head. Ah, yes, it's in the sketch on the wall. It's in the sketch as well. The letterbox is on the far side of the shelf. The point of the note is the location of the letterbox. Unbelievable. As Inquisitor Barnum seems to have noticed, the letterbox is within reach of the small portal conjured by the witch behind the painting on the wall. Oh, indeed it is. And as Sir Balduke's butler, you would have known exactly where he keeps his letters.
In that letterbox before posting them.
You mentioned no such thing! Miss Grail, you created a portal with Godor, not with the intention of killing Sir Balduke. You were after this letter, weren't you?
That's merely wild conjecture. I didn't even know about the letter at the time.
You didn't? Now that's very strange. When Miss Mailer came by the night, Sir Balduke was busy writing that letter, and that's when you entered carrying a bottle of tomato juice. There's no way you wouldn't have known that your master was writing a letter to someone, and you could have known even more than that. For instance, perhaps you knew what he was writing about.
That's enough! I serve Master Balduke as his butler. I never would have pried into his private affairs. Whatever it was he wrote about in his final letter to the storyteller is no concern of mine.
Your Honor? Yes, defense? I'd like Miss Grail's last statement to be added to her testimony. Any objections, Inquisitor Bonham?
No, my lord.
Very well, witness. Include what you just told us in your testimony.
As you wish, my lord. I had no reason to take his life nor steal his letter to the storyteller.
I don't know about that one.
Hold it!
Let me get this straight. You didn't know anything about the victim's letter?
That's right. I believe I said as much already.
Then, how do you know? How do you know it was addressed to the storyteller? Oh, okay, I see. Okay. So when Mailer earlier said that she never broke her confidentiality agreement, that was a lie. She told Grail about. Okay, I see. It's all starting to come together now. Ah, indeed.
Why don't you answer this question, witness?
It's true the letter was addressed to the storyteller. But when did you find out about it?
I've spoken about the murder with many people over the past 3 months.
No, I heard that. Okay, she's acting up now. Actually, no. We're gonna let it stew on that one. We don't have to do this, right? Is it required that I question it every single time, or can I strategically choose to not press people or question people when they do this, or do I have to do this? I'm going to hold off on it just for now. I'm gonna let her stew in that for a bit. I'm gonna let it stew and let it boil in her head for a little bit before I press her hardcore.
I must have heard about it from someone at some point.
Well, evidence was certainly much talked about. Would you not agree, defense? Does the testimony hold together? No, there's a contradiction. There is a huge contradiction in Miss Grail's testimony.
You are becoming very predictable, Sir Blue Knight.
If there is a contradiction, I hope you have the evidence to prove it. Well, I don't have the evidence per se, but I do have the testimony to prove it. Here's my chance. There's only one way to expose this contradiction. The defense has no intention of presenting evidence. What? The proof that there is a contradiction cannot be found in the court record.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
The professor pointed it out to me in the previous witch trial. In this court, an attorney's arsenal isn't limited to the court record. Do not know. I don't need to be reminded by Layton about how to do this. Juxtaposing contradictory testimonies from different witnesses is the key. Miss Grayarrow. Your testimony contradicts another one that we've heard in this court today. Master took me in. Wonderful man. This one right here. Never broken it once, huh?
Objection!
Oh my god. He's a golden statue. It was a single word that gave you away, Miss Grayarrow.
What do you mean by that?
The name of the recipient. There were only a few people who knew the intended recipient of that letter. 4 people to be precise. Only 4 people? First was Sir Balduke, the author of the letter. Then there was the Miss Mailer who delivered it. And of course the storyteller, its recipient. As well as one more person.
Maybe I did. Maybe I spilled the beans. About the letter, I mean. Maybe I told the butler.
You did what?
Well, because, you see, me and the butler are sort of friends. And it was about our dear Sir Balduke. I feel like I might have told her about it after all. See? If I did, that shows how she knew. About the recipient, I mean.
Objection!
I understand that you are friends with Miss Grill and you want to help her out. But I've got a piece of advice, Miss Mailer. You shouldn't lie even ever for a friend.
Huh?
Remember your testimony. You told us about the courier's duty to keep the details of letters confidential. And you have also testified that you have never broken that obligation, remember?
Uh-huh.
Objection!
But hold on just a minute. As the victim's butler, Jean Grey might have had a chance to catch a glimpse of the envelope.
Objection!
No, she didn't. When Miss Mailer came with the delivery, Sir Balduke was still writing that letter. In fact, he was in the middle of it. As that time, the letter had not yet been addressed. At the next morning, when the body was discovered, the letter was already in the letterbox. Keep in mind that Miss Grail would have no opportunity to have seen it then either.
Is that so?
She went to report the crime without even setting foot in the study, and then Miss Mailer appeared and retrieved that letter. Needless to say, Miss Grail couldn't have learned of the letter to Serbian afterwards. Or maybe you have a good explanation, Miss Grail? I'd very much like to hear one. Can you please tell the court how you found out the recipient's name?
Mr. Wright,
Yes?
do you remember what I said when I was called to the witness stand?
Yes?
At the heart of alchemy lies the pursuit of the rules and logic that govern nature. You have demonstrated the power of your own logic.
Miss Grail, are you saying...
Yes, I confess. The upon which you used the spell, Godor, to swap the contents of that letter, and who took the life of Mr. Master Balduke. It was none other than I.
Well, that was easy. That's actually kind of anticlimactic in a way. I guess that's it then.
I was an only child, born to a poor family. I've been a witch since I was very little. When did I become aware of it? I don't remember. Although I was but a young child, I knew that being a witch was a crime. That's why I hid my witch's scepter and wouldn't use magic at all. My father worked as a bricklayer. He toiled every day, but we could only make ends meet. One winter day, we couldn't afford to pay the rent. We were going to lose the house. My mother was in tears, and my father was sitting with his head down, wordless.
I want money for Mummy and Daddy.
That day, I suddenly remembered about the witch's scepter that I had hidden.
The Godot spell.
I thought I'd try it, just once, casting the spell. But at the time, I had no idea what an irreversible mistake that would be. Even though no one told me, I knew from the very beginning what magic I was able to use. What should I turn into gold? I was thinking about it really hard, the little girl that I was. Something that wouldn't stand out, that could be taken for a work of art. Then I decided, I chose a pretty leaf that had fallen into our garden. But it wasn't the right thing to do after all. I was terribly punished for using magic even just the once.
Punished? In what way were you punished?
I placed the leaf down in the back garden and cast a spell, but then Margaret suddenly walked in front of me.
Margaret?
My closest childhood friend. Margaret. Right before my eyes, she was turned into gold.
Oh, dear me.
I screamed and cried, but I knew I couldn't ask anyone for help. If anyone had seen it, they would have known it was the work of magic. And I knew Margaret wasn't coming back. That's terrible. Then my mother and father's faces flashed before my eyes. We may have been poor, but we were always happy together. Had I been captured as a witch, I feared my parents probably wouldn't be safe either. That thought tormented me more than anything, and so I made the decision.
Oh?
I threw myself into the river near the town. It was winter and the water was as cold as ice. I couldn't even move. It was painful. My consciousness started drifting away. The next thing I knew, I was in Master Balduke's residence. He risked his own life jumping into the freezing river to save me. I burst into tears and told him everything. I didn't want to go back home. I would only end up causing my parents grief. Master Balduke listened to me without interrupting, and then he told me this.
You can stay here, but from now on, you must live as a boy.
Well, this trial took a turn.
Master Balduke met with my parents and explained everything to them. They were very sad, but they agreed it would be best if I didn't return home. Poor Miss Grail, it must have been so awful for her. Master bought the house of my parents, so they wouldn't have to worry about paying rent anymore. As for Margaret, turned into gold, he brought her to his residence. He knew that if anyone saw her, they would report an incident of witchcraft.
And this Miss Margaret statue, is she still in that golden state?
Yes, she is.
That's strange. We received no reports of anyone by that name having gone missing.
Margaret is being kept in the basement of her master's study.
The basement? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this Margaret, is she a...
Yes. My dear friend was a goat that we were keeping at her house.
Goat?
Until then, Master Balduke had mainly been researching medicine, but since the incident with Margaret, he became known as an alchemist.
So that's when he became an alchemist?
I was wondering why the goat was the only thing not covered in dust. That's how I started a new life as Master Balduke's butler.
Sebaduk would sometimes work as a physician, curing the townspeople of their illnesses. As an assistant, you have also shown commitment to helping the townspeople through your work. I forget about being a witch and was able to live happily at peace with everyone. I thought it could stay like that forever. But those peaceful days came to an abrupt end. Tell us, what in the world was the cause?
Even I am not quite sure what led to this, however. It all started 3 months ago with that lightning strike. Master Duke and I were on our way back home, carrying specimens for experiments. An old bell tower appeared in the flames. Everyone who saw it was stupefied. But the expression on Master Duke's face was unlike anything I'd ever seen before.
What do you mean?
His face went pale and twisted in sheer terror. He was shaking violently. It wasn't just astonishment at an unusual phenomenon. It seemed as if he was afraid of something more concrete.
Perhaps Sebaduk saw something that others couldn't.
He canceled his experiments for that night and began writing a letter to someone.
A letter?
I found out about it when I brought him this bottle of tomato juice. He was writing feverishly as if he were possessed. I saw some things. A few words in that letter. Expose everything. Cannot keep a secret any longer. The truth about the witch. Master Belduke was going to confess that I was a witch. Everything went black in front of my eyes. I will never forget the feeling that overwhelmed me at that moment.
Is that when you decided to commit the crime?
What I did first was accidentally singe a part of my wall in the room. It was an excuse to repaint that section of the wall green.
Then you also painted the wall behind that painting in Sir Beduk's study.
And when that fateful night came, I used a syringe to inject a soporific through the cork and into the bottle of tomato juice. So many thoughts were running through my head as I wished Master a good night. I opened the portal behind him. He was right there in front of me, asleep. I reached for the letter in the letterbox, taking care not to wake him, and then I happened to notice the name on the envelope. Storyteller. When I read that name, the world all around me turned black once more. It's impossible to avoid what is written by the storyteller. It seemed as if I could hear the doors to all escape routes shut and closed. It was a sound of despair. I would like you to believe me, that the thought of taking Master Baduke's life never once occurred to me. I only planned to steal the letter and disappear. But as I looked upon Master sleeping there in front of me, at that moment I felt an evil presence awake within me. Why did he save my life? And why did he betray me? Before I realized what I was doing, my hands were clutching his neck. He didn't move at all, so I kept on clenching his neck. That's the truth about what happened 3 months ago.
Well, I guess that's it then. There is just one thing I failed to understand.
Yes?
You said you wanted to run away once you had stolen the letter. Yet despite that, you continued to live in Sir Beduk's residence, and now here you stand. Why did you not run away?
My life had been thrown into disarray due to the absurdity of magic. I had learned all about alchemy living in Master's residence. Alchemy is considered with the logic that governs the world, and I wanted to believe that there was truly such a thing. So I stayed in that place hoping to one day see the irrational nature of magic overcome by the power of reason.
Magic becoming overcome by reason.
That night, I swapped the letter with blank sheets of parchment and waited for the sun to rise. I resolved to wait for the day when my true identity could be exposed through reason and logic. Master's death remained a mystery for 3 months, and people started to lose interest. And then you appeared, Mr. Wright. On the day you visited the residence, I was listening to your conversation from the other room. Has the time finally come for me? My heart was racing with anticipation. Then, a few minutes after everyone entered the room, an unbelievable incident took place.
That incident?
A witch appeared in Master's study.
What?
I wanted to get a look at the witch, so I created a portal in the wall behind the painting. Precisely at that moment, the witch used one of the very spells that I can use too. When I heard those words, a single thought flashed through my mind. This was my chance. I could dispose of my witch's scepter. I knew at the time what kind of a witch the Inquisition would be looking for.
A witch that can use familiar and gold ore.
It occurred to me that I only needed to change one of the magic gems. I recently found out that the familiar gem was purple. I realized that if I swapped the gold orb magic gem for my amethyst, I could pin the blame for my crime on that other witch.
So you changed one of the gems and threw the witch's scepter into that room, is that correct?
Exactly.
Objection!
Wait a minute, Jean Grail. This statement of yours is highly problematic. How so, Inquisitor Barnum?
Yes, you are right.
Can someone explain to me what this is about?
I am a witch indeed, a sinful creature that killed the person to whom she owed her life. However, regarding the gentleman standing next to you, Mr. Wright, he may have fallen victim to a witch, but that witch was not me.
Ah. Oh? Wait, what? I mean, that doesn't really matter. I don't care about Layton. You've already admitted to what you did. Order in the court. What is the meaning of this?
Jean Grail admits to killing Sir Baduke, but not to turning Sir Layton to gold.
That is the gist of it, my lord. But lying about is meaningless. Lying?
Just being witch is a crime in itself, and the punishment for the crime is the same regardless of whether she took one person's life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why there's no point in lying about it. I'm sure that's just what the judge is thinking.
Grail is still claiming that she never laid a finger on the professor, but if there's no point in lying, does that mean she must be telling us the truth?
So in that case, who's responsible for what happened to the professor? If it wasn't her, then who was it?
I mean, it was probably just some random witch we're gonna find out later. Oh, great. Now you're here to say something.
Take a hint, witness. Does it feel like this is the right moment for you to talk?
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I was staying quiet until now. But, yeah, I either say now or never.
Don't send me false starting after saying that. It only makes it weigh on my mind more. Whatever did you want to say?
Oi, Bluey.
Yes?
I need to make sure about something. My head's not what it used to be, you know?
Oh, trust me, we've noticed.
The alchemist butler, Lady Butler, she slipped sleep medicine into his drink.
That's correct. She laced his tomato juice with it.
And then she strangled the alchemist afterwards?
Yes, Sir Baduke was unconscious from the sleep medicine, so he didn't resist. And that explains why we found no signs of the struggle at the crime scene.
Yeah, about that. Let's really about what I did at the crime scene, right? I told you that I had a few sips of that juice.
And the sleep medicine mixed with made you sleep like a log.
Yes, we remember. Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's just between us, okay? You see, when I appropriated that juice, the juice bottle was still, well...
Unopened? It was unopened? What?
Because it was parched and I wasn't thinking straight. That brand new bottle was just there, waiting for me with a corkscrew conveniently laid next to it.
What? I couldn't just let it go to waste, simply pulled out the cork and got to drinking. What? Wait, hold on. We have a sketch that shows him with the blood trickling down his face. What? How do you... What? So it was blood then? But in that case, First off, this case is still going, apparently. Huh? What? This case probably should have been over already.
Witness, you
went to the trouble of opening a bottle and found other crime scene just to drink suspicious contents?
That's what I've been telling you. I was dying of thirst.
That doesn't justify what you've done.
Objection!
The Inquisition shall deal with this witness after the trial. He will find out what it means to be dying of thirst in a more literal meaning. However, let us not waste any more time with him now. The witch has confessed to her crimes. There is no need to investigate Sir Baduke's death any further. Well, there might be. If there's a contradiction there, then there might be something else that we haven't found yet. The person who kills her protector to whom she owes her very life can be nothing other than a witch. The court has sufficient grounds to sentence her as such. Baduke didn't drink the juice that night, and if that's true, then there's one thing that doesn't add up.
Mr. White, I have to say that something about this is bothering me. I'm sure there's a contradiction Luke in the man's testimony. You think so, Luke?
Can I really turn a blind eye to that? No, investigate the contradiction. Mister, you're saying you just opened the tomato juice bottle, but that claim contradicts some piece of evidence, yet contradicts the sketches that show that there's a giant trickle of blood going down his mouth. Which means it must be blood, but then that brings us back to, okay, but if there's no struggle, then how is there blood? Yes, Your Honor. At this point, your client's innocence has already been established. Therefore, whether there's a contradiction in that my testimony or not should be no longer any of your concern. That may be so, Your Honor, but even though I'm here to defend the accused, the true duty of any attorney is to uncover the truth behind what happened. My job's not done until there are no more contradictions left.
Very well.
Sir Blue Knight, let us hear about this contradiction you have discovered. The bottle was first opened by that guy, meaning Baduke didn't drink any of it. That means there's one piece of evidence that should be very difficult to explain. Yeah, the sketches. I would like to hear about the contradiction too. Where is the contradiction in the sketches?
Take that!
The contradiction can be seen in one of the sketches of the crime scene. In one of the sketches? Please take a look at Sir Baduke's mouth. We can see a line of red liquid trickling down from his mouth. Yes, but we've already established it was the tomato juice. Oh! Exactly, Your Honor. Subaru didn't drink any of the tomato juice that night.
Objection!
Which means there's one other possibility. That red line is, as we thought, first of all, blood. Yeah, but then you're just back to, okay, but there was no struggle at the crime scene, so where did that come from? Unfortunately, that would only bring us back to the problem we encountered earlier. If the victim had put up a fight, then there should have been traces of a struggle at the crime scene, yet those traces were found. That's what made you assume the witch must have been use familia.
Ah, yes, that is so. As I explained before, Master Builder didn't struggle at all at that time. But when I think about it now, in light of the new information, it was very unnatural.
The victim didn't drink the soporific and yet didn't struggle. But what does this mean? If it's all tomato juice, no blood brought about through a struggle with the murderer, then what else could it be? Since it's not tomato juice, we have to assume it's blood after all. I have ruled out the possibility that the victim bit his tongue while struggling with the attacker.
Indeed.
Then there's gotta be a different reason for that blood being there. He must have suffered internal bleeding that was somehow connected to his death, but what could have caused it? Your Honor, if I may ask one question. If I just clarify this one suspicion, I may be able to explain the blood stain in the sketch. So I need to question one person. The only person who's even worth questioning is Amir. He's the one who was there. Mister, can I ask you something?
Yeah? Don't give me that scary look, Bluey. I know nothing at all. I got nothing to tell.
Why are you here? Birdley has not done anything worthwhile for this so far. You better... Okay. You drank the tomato juice that was at the crime scene, correct?
Don't keep asking me about that over and over again, so what if I did?
Then I have another question for you. Did anything else disappear from the crime scene that day? Did anything else disappear? Wait! It was a suicide. It was a suicide. He killed himself. He poisoned himself. Oh, God. I wasn't paying attention before. I didn't see that either. This clown of a man, he has a bottle with a skull on it. For as on the nose as that is, I think that means that's what he was... That Sir Roderick used that to poison himself. But it wasn't the crime scene because this man took it from him. And that would explain the internal bleeding. Oh my God.
Objection!
Witnesses, what have you done this time? You look like a dog caught making a mess on the carpet.
What are you looking at me like that? I don't know about anything going missing. I'm innocent, please believe me.
That's a little bit hard to do. Looks like my gut feeling was right. He took something from the crime scene, and I know what he took. Something that could be directly connected to the red liquid around Belduke's mouth. A certain item disappeared from the crime scene that day, and at this very moment, it's highly likely that the item is right in front of our very eyes. What? It's here? Isn't that right, mister?
Is it? I have no idea.
Defender, I order you to show us what this item is. The item that this witness took from the crime scene, it's this. It's this over here.
Got it!
It's this bottle. The bottle? Miss Grail, I'd like you to clarify something for me.
What would that be, Mr. Wright?
Sir Belduke was working on creating certain medicines. He had various dangerous substances in his possession as well. How are they stored?
Master kept them in a locked medicine cabinet. The bottles were labeled so that it was clear they were dangerous. They have all been confiscated.
As for those labels, did they resemble the label on that guy's bottle?
Ah, Mister, what are you doing with the product of Master's research?
It's not what you think. I didn't have any evil intentions or nothing.
That bottle belonged to Master and it was used. Poisoned, strong enough to kill.
Poison? What? The red liquid trickling down Sir Belduke's mouth was definitely blood. Now, as for what caused him to bleed like that from his mouth? It was the deadly poison from the bottle this guy stole from the crime scene.
This is outrageous.
Order, order, order. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you expect me to just keep quiet? It was poison? Poison, am I gonna die?
Objection!
Just wait and see, time will tell. More importantly, I want to know why you have that bottle.
Huh? Well, that's, remember how I told you I drank the alchemist tomato juice?
Indeed. It's not something easy to forget, especially having heard it several times.
Well, that was when I saw on the floor, the bottle right here. It was totally empty, and I thought, you know, it's a differential looking bottle and all. A bit of a skull fancier. They have this air of danger about them, right?
They certainly do.
So since it was there, I was there too, I felt like we were kind of meant for each other.
Oh, that's really weak. Okay. That's an incredibly weak reason to take it.
Had any poison been left in the bottle, you would have died instantly, but if it was empty, it would probably be harmless. Oh, hear that? I'm gonna live! Good thing I rinsed it well before use.
But the victim was killed by poison. That raises a new question, of course. Who could have poisoned him? Himself. It was a suicide. Considering all the evidence on the testimonies before his death, the answer is so close I can taste it. Somebody was poisoned by himself. Which is incredibly sad. It was, of course, Sir Belduke himself. Sir Belduke himself? Sir Belduke took that poison of his own will. His death was suicide!
Objection!
That is preposterous. A suicide? Inconceivable.
Objection!
Think about it, Inquisitor. That would explain the most unnatural aspect of his death. The most unnatural aspect? Miss Grail, when you were strangling Sir Belduke, he put up no fight whatsoever, is that correct?
Yes, it is. Until today, I was convinced it was due to the sleep medicine.
It wasn't because he didn't take any. The truth is that when you gripped his throat, Sir Belduke was already dead. He had poisoned himself. But what, the poison caused him to bleed from his mouth? I personally know of no poison that works instantly and causes such symptoms. Oh, you don't? I can't just tell them that it happens on TV all the time.
There are certain plants in this area that contain a highly poisonous substance. In the course of this research, Master Belduke found a way to extract that poison.
What am I hearing? Is there really such a dangerous plant in Labyrinthia?
The poison is very bitter to taste, so it would be impossible to secretly slip into someone's food or drink, and it would cause internal damage. It is a very powerful poison. Drinking it would induce the most painful death.
And to think Sir Belduke would... But did Sir Belduke really choose such an agonizing death for himself? Doesn't seem like he suffered that much.
I'd like to know that too.
Miss Grail?
You mean to say your master killed himself after exposing me as a witch? I can't believe it. He just wouldn't commit suicide.
Indeed, we cannot judge the theory at face value. Had he committed suicide, I dare say he would have left a suicide note. Yeah, what do you think the letter that she stole was? I can't say why Sir Belduke committed suicide was. I think there's a piece of evidence that confirms suicide was a possibility. There's a piece of evidence like that? If you have such evidence, you ought to present it to the court immediately. Present the evidence. It's the letter. The blank letter that she took. What do you think that was? That's Sir Belduke's letter. Let's see, it was the rest of the storyteller, wasn't it? This is the last letter written by Sir Belduke. Now, if his death was a suicide, then this letter may well be his suicide note.
Objection!
What we have here is nothing more than blank sheets of parchment. Whether or not there was a suicide note is something we can only speculate about. That's right. But there is one person who knows whether this letter was really a suicide note. You mean the person who swapped its contents? In other words, you, Jean Grail. Witness, you stole Sir Belduke's letter on the night of the crime. Tell us what was written on it.
I don't know.
What? You don't know?
I did see the letter, yes, but I don't know what its contents were.
You mean you have not read it?
I couldn't bring myself to read it. It seemed that if I did, everything that happened since Master Belduke saved my life would be ruined in an instant. I've taken it out and held it in my hands many times, but no matter what, I just couldn't. Miss Grail.
Can you tell us where that letter is now?
I have it here.
Oh, you're carrying it around with you? If you were such, you would have been done for.
That night, having killed Master Belduke, I decided to stay in his residence. I knew my identity would be revealed sooner or later, and I was ready for it. So until that time, I decided to always keep the letter with me. My lord.
Yes, but this...
If you don't mind, could you please read it aloud? Now that I'm here in this place of judgment, I think I'm finally ready to hear what Master wrote.
Hold it! Miss Grail, I think you should be the one to read it.
Me?
Sir Belduke wrote this letter to the storyteller as he was preparing to die. I think it's only right his last words should be read by you.
Yes, you're right.
I don't know that that's going to be the best thing for her, because that's probably going to be really hard for her to get through, but okay, Phoenix.
I understand. Please allow me to read the letter aloud. My dear friend, I hope you will be able to forgive me for leaving this world of my own will. I have finally made this decision, having seen that accursed bell tower
appear in the flames on that dreadful night. That lightning was a sign that we have angered the gods. What I have done cannot be forgiven. For the past few days, I have been thinking that it might be best to simply expose everything. This town's secret, the truth about the witch. Of course, I understand that secrets need to be kept. However, I have grown very tired. I'm afraid I cannot keep the secret any longer. I have only two concerns. The first is my daughter. It pains me to be leaving her alone in this world, although she probably doesn't think of me as her father.
A daughter?
Mr. Belduke seemed to know a lot about this town. This town's secret, and the truth about the witch.
Truth about the witch? Somehow I don't think he was talking about Miss Grey Earl.
Oh. The second matter, weighing heavily on my mind, is that Jean will be left on her own.
Seeing her growing up, so strong and righteous, in defiance of her fate, had given me hope. A short while ago, she brought me my usual, and what will be my last, drink. There are so many things I wanted to tell her, but I could only manage a thank you. She is a very sharp child. Had I said any more, she would have caught on. You could call me a selfish man, but I didn't wish my last memory of her to be a sad one.
Master Belduke. If the fate handed to her by this town has made her life an ordeal until now, I hope from the bottom of my heart that a wonderful story awaits her next. I intend to leave my residence to her, and I would like you to look out for her.
Alas, it is time for me to put my pen down. My dear friend, what I truly wish to express to you is too complicated for words. I hope one day you will understand. But for now, I bid you farewell. The time has come for me to go.
Wow, I mean, yikes, that's a lot to take in at once. And I didn't really have much to say there because it's just like ingesting, just processing all that information at once. I did not expect this case to take this turn. And yet here we are in the future.
This letter, it wasn't a denunciation of me being a witch.
Master Belduke cared about you until the very end.
Yes, how could I have forgotten? I'm sure I knew it all along. So why did I? How could I have done that to him?
Miss Grey Earl. My lord. What is it, Inquisitor Barnum? I think it is about time. For the guilty verdict. Guilty? What? The Inquisition withdraws the charges against Maya Fey. And charges Green... Wait, how could you possibly... That's your reaction to this! You hear that story and you think to yourself, alright, death by fire, here we go. What?
Objection!
What is this town? Not so fast, Inquisitor Barnum. What do you want now, Sir Blue Knight? Admittedly, Miss Grey Earl did attempt to strangle Sir Belduke, but he had already consumed a deadly poison and was already dead at the time. Therefore, she's not guilty of murder. That's not what she's... No, he's accusing her of being a witch, which she confessed to. That's not... That's... Oh my god, and one more thing. It wasn't Miss Grey Earl who turned Professor Layton into gold. I honestly forgot that he was here up until now. There was another witch present at the crime scene. The defendant, Maya, saw her too. To put it simply, Miss Grey Earl didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, she didn't kill anyone, and yet you still want to burn her?
Maya!
Do you even know how it feels to be put in this cage? It's like everyone's against you and it's super frightening. I'm not a witch, but I've been thrown into this cage and it's almost sent for something I didn't do.
Again.
And now you're about to do the same to another person. It's just not right!
Is that all you have to say?
Huh?
The one who's in the wrong is not me, but you, Sir Blue Knight. Whether the witch committed a crime or not is completely irrelevant. This is the witch's call that all witches must be punished by fire. But that's crazy! Why? Why, Barnum? Inquisitor Barnum is absolutely right. Being a witch is a crime. You understand? So wait, so it's a crime to be born with something that you can't control. Oh, this town. This town. Okay, this town considers it a crime to be born with something which you literally can't control. Alright then. This court is ready to issue the final verdict. Maya Faye's found innocent and in her place. Jean Grant is found guilty of being a witch and shall be cast into the fire.
No! You can't!
Hold it!
Oh my god, if Luke saves the day, I swear to God. If Luke saves the day, I swear to God.
Please, hold the verdict!
That would be slightly less bad.
Espella?
What is it now, Espella Cantabella?
There is nothing else we can do. This is the course of things, and you should know it well.
Indeed, all witches shall be cast into the flames. That is the law of this town. A law that was written by your very own father. And furthermore, a law that has always been obeyed in the town of Labyrinthia.
A town like this should never exist in the first place.
What? Such insolence!
Okay, Rafa.
That's heresy. She's criticizing the storyteller's story. Even the storyteller's daughter has no right to criticize the story.
There's fanboys of the story. Okay.
Trials in which innocent people are sentenced to death by fire. I shall make sure this is the last one.
What do you mean, Espella?
Since you're all so keen on the rules created by the storyteller, you should know exactly what I mean. The stipulation for ending the witch trials. Once the Great Witch Bazella is burned, the witch trials will
Which
end.
just doesn't make any sense in conjunction with the last case, because if that's true, then she should have just burned you and not... and then this...
At present, I am under suspicion. You know very well why that is, don't you?
You? But you don't mean that you're...
I am guilty.
I don't believe that even for a second.
I am the Great Witch Bazella.
She's just saying that so that she can take the hit.
What?
Now, cast me into the flames and let Miss Grayle free.
Because if she actually believed that, then she would have just... She would have said that in the last case. She wouldn't have even bothered putting up a fight. She's obviously lying.
This shall be the last of the witch trials. No one else need be burned here.
Because here's the thing, this doesn't make any sense. Because if she's wrong, if you're wrong and she's not the Great Witch, which she's obviously not, then this isn't gonna do anything.
Espella, just what are you saying? I can't let you do that.
Please, Mr. Wright, let me do as I wish. I'm sorry, but this is a problem concerning the...
No! Please don't do it!
There must be another way. You don't need to do this. It's all right, Luke, Maya, Mr. Wright, and Mr. Layton.
This can't be happening.
Miss Cantabella, your confession will have very serious, or rather, fatal consequences for you. May we assume that you fully understand those consequences and are willing to accept them?
I am Espella Cantabella, the storyteller's daughter, but I also have another
Yeah,
name.
no, that's not.
I am the Great Witch
Obviously
Bazella.
not. Obviously
I
not.
have lived hidden in
No,
the dark
yeah, I don't
lives.
buy, no one's buying this. No one's buying this.
Court attendants, seize that woman! She is the Great Witch Bazella.
Also, there's no way they would actually kill her off halfway through the game. This isn't happening. Yeah, no, nice try, game. No one's buying this. The storyteller's probably gonna come crashing through the doors unless they're gonna like, stop! You mustn't kill my daughter! Or something like that, I don't know.
Espella.
Like, this obviously isn't gonna happen. What? Maya, what do you... What?
It's that easy? You just pull it open? What? Oh,
Jump over there!
yeah. What are you gonna do? Swing from like a pirate? Swing from a chandelier?
They're getting away!
What? What is this, a Mission Impossible movie? What are you, how did you, what is going on? What is this game? Why would you, superhero landing? Why didn't they close the cage immediately the first time? Of course you run away, Luke, you piece of shit. Oh sure, just leave us here. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Luke. Wait, what? What?
Stop! You got to stop!
What?
I'm just gonna take a step away for a second. Wait a minute. What is this? What is this game? What was that? What just happened there? Can somebody summarize to me what happened in the past 60 seconds? What? Okay. Let's review. Let's try, in desperation, to review what the hell just happened there. Okay, so first, we have, we exposed the truth behind, let me say, first of all, that case was great. That case, in the moments, there were a few moments when Luke would get credit for something, like talking to a parrot, or Layton would get credit for something that he couldn't have done because he was unconscious, and a golden statue. But other than that, that was a great case where Phoenix got to stand on his own and do his thing. I wish Mike could have been there by his side, but it's a small price to pay for salvation. So we exposed the truth behind the case, which was actually really, really heartbreaking. Like, that was a really, really good case. That was really good. The backstory of everybody involved, the characters, the plot, the mysteries, the contradictions, really, really well put together. So we solve it, we expose the truth, and then these insane people are like, alright, well, guess what? You're gonna die anyway because you're still a witch, so you must be burned to the stake. Which is just like, game? What are these rules? Like, so my question is, like, if Layton wakes up tomorrow, and suddenly he has witch powers, despite having dedicated his entire life to being a gentleman and helping everybody around him, is he suddenly, like, irredeemable? Does he just get burned immediately because he woke up with witch powers he can't control? Like, is that how this works? Because if so, that's just idiotic. Then Aspella is like, okay, so, the witch trials will stop if we burn the Great Witch Bezella. Well, guess what? I'm the Great Witch Bezella, so burn me. Which I assume is just her being like, here, I'll sacrifice myself so you all can live. But that doesn't work because you're not the Great Witch Bezella. That doesn't do anything. That may put everyone's mind at ease, but if the rule is literally you must burn the correct person or else you keep doing witch trials, then this doesn't help anybody. You're doing nothing. Nothing gets accomplished here. It's meaningless. So then, they load her into the cage, which, first off, I don't know why they didn't take Maya down from there immediately. They should have gotten her away from that cage as soon as possible. But then, she leaps from the balcony, and none of the guards stop her. Nobody stops her. She just leaps from the balcony. She grabs onto the cage, somehow. I don't know how she managed to grab onto that thing and just swing without falling or without the cage itself being just flung out of the, like, how would she have possibly, I feel like she probably would have fallen. She's not exactly wearing action-ready clothing, for that. Like, it's just nothing about, Maya should not have been able to jump out to grab that cage. There's absolutely no way. Just absolutely not. That did not happen. Okay, but let's assume that did happen. So then she somehow, if the cage is that easy to open, then why don't you just, like, she literally just pulled, like, a lever from the outside, but if she can reach it from the outside, then surely a spell could reach it from the inside. Just pull the lever and jump out of the cage and then run away. Why is anybody afraid of the cage? And then, so then you may say, okay, but the cage is closed. the stupid wall or whatever. So why wasn't the wall lowered on that cage for when Espella went down there? So then Maya's like, hey, help me, Nick. Yeah, we literally just escaped death. Like, surely there's better, more intelligent ways to stop this than by jumping out like Mission Impossible to grab the cage and then wrench it open, which apparently works. Apparently you can just wrench the cage door open, which makes me wonder why nobody just opens the cage from the inside. So then Espella jumps out, she grabs the chandelier and swings from the chandelier like a pirate movie. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. She swings from the chandelier, she lands on the ground like a superhero with, the superhero landing that Iron Man does and all that. She lands on the ground, and then Luke just runs the hell away because he's a cowardly little shit. And Phoenix starts beating the shit out of people like Batman, for God's sake. And then Maya gets into the cage. So the guards extend a platform out to the cage, they put her in the cage, and then they burn her? What? What just happened? What? I don't even... What? There's so much to break down there, I don't even know how to begin. Well, I mean, obviously I just broke it all down, but like, there's so many issues to pick apart. So, So, on a more general level, why is anybody surprised by this? Like, genuinely, if the whole premise of the story is that the storyteller writes what happens and no one can change it, then shouldn't everybody have already known that this is how the outcome of the trial would be because they read it in the storybook that they got flung out to everybody? No one's surprised by this? Okay, everyone's surprised by this? Okay. I'd have to rewatch that scene to get a closer look at everything that happened, and like really break down the choreography of that and how that all just went down. But that was jarring as all hell. To see Maya Fey, leaping across in her spirit medium clothing and her sandals, clinging onto the cage like a Mission Impossible action hero. Like, And then, so again, why didn't she just open up the cage from the inside if it's that easy and then jump out? So, how could she possibly have survived that? Like, obviously we know that she survives that because we've played future games. But how? Like, actually how, though? Oh my god, I don't even... That was something, alright. That was something. Alright, well that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next one. I hope to catch you all tomorrow when we try to dissect what the hell just happened there. Goodbye.